Our first guest is part of music history. Jeff "Skunk" Baxter is known for his amazing guitar skills in Steely Dan, founding member, and the Doobie Brothers. He's a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he didn't stop there. He's performing his first ever solo album tomorrow at the Franklin Theater. Welcome in, friend. So happy to have you.
Thank you for your hospitality, Laura. Appreciate it.
You are so kind. We got to talk about tomorrow's show because this is going to be a good one.
I hope so. I hope so.
What can we expect?
A lot of music, covering certainly a long span of time. A lot of stories, because guy's been around like me, I got a million stories. A frightening band. Yeah. I mean, we'll describe it later on when we actually do something. I mean, for instance, the bass player in the band, not only is he a killer bass player, but he happens to be the bass player for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
I mean, these guys are, Skunk just pawn in Game of Life with these guys. So it should be a fun night. Okay,
so we've got to talk about Speed of Heat. That's your first ever solo album. Right. And you've had some amazing collaborations. You worked with Clint Black, you worked with Michael McDonald. Talk about how you kind of put that together, that album, and what it was like.
Well, I'd talked to an old buddy of mine, C.J. Vanston, who's a wonderful producer in his own right. And we started writing together and playing together, building up a, you know, we put pennies in the cookie jar, eventually got to roll them up. So we came up with a bunch of songs, and I thought, maybe it's time to do a solo album. So I started talking to some of my friends, and the word got around. Mike McDonald said, hey, I hear you're doing a solo record. I'd love to play on it. Clint Black said, hey, Michael said, and then Johnny Lang said, well, Clint said, and anyway, so it kind of all just morphed together.
Oh, okay, we've got to go way back in time now. Steely Dan, one of the founding members, I know that it was almost like magic, the way that things kind of came together, fell together. And you worked with the Doobie Brothers. I mean, let's talk about some of those stories. Please share some of your favorite memories, because I know the audience definitely wants to hear them.
Well, nothing too scary, I promise. Certainly with Steely Dan, I think the thing that impressed me the most was when we did our first show in Texas, of all places, and people actually liked it, and we're all looking at each other and go, they really like this? You know, we didn't know, we're just kids, we don't know what we're doing. And in the Doobie Brothers, we had our own airplane, and I convinced the pilot to do a bunch of parabolas. I wanted everybody to experience weightlessness. Ooh. So we did about 9 of those, popped about 8 rivets in the airplane, we had to stop, but everybody, if you look on the back of the Minute by Minute album, everybody's floating in the air. That's it. Everybody's weightless in the Doobie liner. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. The story behind. You've also worked with Dolly Parton, and you say it's like working with an angel.
Oh, she's a wonderful. When we did 9 to 5, it was like, I don't know what to say. What an incredible woman. The things she does for kids, the things she does for music. I mean, I can't say enough.
And recently you recorded a PBS special at Analog just on Monday. Yeah. And you said it was phenomenal. You had Rome from Sublime there. Right. Who else was there? Because, I mean, I can't wait for it to come out.
Well, Gunnar and Matt Nelson, and I used to play pedal steel for their dad, so I watched, they were like my kids, my grandkids kind of. And Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats came up to play. Lauren Morrow from Nashville is a phenomenal singer, and she sang a Steely Dan song, which made it even more interesting. So the whole evening was just, it's like throwing the seeds out there and waiting to see what grows. It was, I had way more fun than I should have had legally, absolutely.
Well, you deserve it because, like we said, this guy is a legend, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member, but what some might not know is that you actually advise members of U.S. Congress on missile defense. You work for the Department of Defense.
That's correct.
Please share more, because how do you do it all?
Well, like I tell a lot of people, a radar is just a guitar on steroids. If you understand the physics of how it works, then next thing you know, you're writing papers and position papers, meeting guys in the Pentagon who like what you have to say. They put you in a chair, they make you tell everything you know about your life. They give you a bunch of security clearances and send you off to go to work. Wow. And it's America. That's what makes America great. Brian May from Queen got his PhD in astrophysics. When you start to look at what music is, every physicist I ever worked with at Lawrence Livermore and MIT, they're all musicians. So there's this connection between physics and music.
Wow. And we were talking about veterans just before we started this segment, because I said, he's a hero, you're a hero. And you said, no, I'm not. You said those in, go ahead.
The men and women in Arlington Cemetery and the other hallowed ground, they're the real heroes. They're the ones that have made it possible for us to be here this afternoon.
So, so true. Now, back to the music. It's changed so much. And here in Music City, we're experiencing a lot of changes that we can physically see as the city continues to grow. What do you have for the new musicians out there who are really just, you know, busking on the sides of the street here in Nashville or trying to become big? What advice do you have for them?
It's difficult. The music business has changed so much. The bad news is there's not as much opportunity in the corporate world as there was back in the days when there were a number of record companies. The good news is with the internet, the ability to reach out to literally billions of people with your music offers an opportunity that it didn't exist before. So I guess it's like anything else. The smart folks figure out how to balance the two and, you know, do the best they can.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time and just hanging out with me on set, because you are awesome. My dad was pumped for this interview, and I can't wait to show him. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Skunk. Jeff Skunk Baxter. You got to check out his album Speed of Heat and the Speed of Heat Summer Tour. You can catch him tomorrow night at the Franklin Theater.